week?
My week was pretty good.
Yeah. Good.
Got a lot of rest.
Yeah, no, you said you
Slept a lot.
Yeah, your last few days of the week, you're probably getting 6 hours of sleep. You caught up there, huh?
Yeah, probably less.
I like it. Cool. We're ready to go. Are we? Good to go? Cool. My name is Robert.
My name is Chad.
We are the Intellectually Show, the show where we teach you to hold professionals in real estate more accountable. So let's get this thing started. What episode are we?
6 or 7?
6 or 7.
Oh, this is episode 8.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Time's flying.
Time's flying. Is this right? Is this in the way?
Season 1, episode 8.
Oh, I gotta sit up straight more.
Well, what do we have for today, Hannah?
First order of business posture check.
Posture check. How do I look?
Yikes.
Everyone's looking good.
Cool.
Posture check here.
Yep.
We got Clyde in the back. His
Yeah,
posture's great. We got Chad.
What is Clyde doing?
We got Rob.
Making me
Look
sneeze.
at Clyde right now.
This is Clyde.
Funny boy.
Dude, he's built for the camera, dude.
He is.
He belongs on, what's his food?
Meow Mix.
Meow Mix. He belongs on Meow Mix. Dude, look at that. Holy cow. That's crazy.
So, Hannah, tell us about
Chad's like, please.
current events, St. Louis. Go.
All right. We are jumping into today. Our main topic is going to be downtown St. Louis. We kind of want to put a focus on downtown St. Louis. What's happening in downtown St. Louis?
A lot.
A lot is changing. A lot of new developments. We're going to be talking about office space, apartment buildings, and a certain building that is having some changes downtown specifically, as well as the MetroLink. We're going to kind of talk about that a little bit as well because they're having some changes
I
too.
like it.
All
so I'll let
fun
you guys
stuff.
kind of get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Well, first we'll talk about the new House Bill 3231 that was passed a few weeks ago,
Yep.
also called the Missouri Innovation, Public Safety, and Accountability Act. It's a tax bill that includes credits up to 25% of conversion costs, turning office space into residential buildings. They capped it at $50 million annually. Also allows eligible employers to retain up to 3% state income tax withholdings from gross wages paid to employees if they agree to remain in the district for more than for about 5 years, at least 5 years, excuse me.
Yeah.
The program will last for 10 years. So that's
Pretty crazy.
very exciting news. It's essentially an idea trying to encourage these vacant office space conversions to residential areas, especially downtown. Now, the U.S. national office space vacancy rate sitting at about 20.5% at the end of quarter 2025. St. Louis is specific.
Do we have a number where they concluded that 22.5%?
Yeah, that number came from.
I'm just wondering what is their base that they're getting?
Cushman and Wakefield. It's their market beat office report.
What is their number of that 22.5, or is it just all? If you don't know it, that's
Say
fine.
that again.
I guess 22.5% of what?
So
How
they
many?
say so they define explanation of terms: total inventory, the total amount of office space in buildings and in buildings of a predetermined size by market that can be rented by a third party. The overall vacancy rate, the amount of unoccupied space, new relet and sublet expressed as a percentage of total inventory. So
Cool.
yes, so that.
So are we talking like when you're driving by and you see, office space for lease? Like we're talking about those buildings that are vacant that you just see on the corner of every lot.
Yes, I do
Agreed.
know they also specified as well in this report about private ownership and owner-occupied ownership. That they did not include that as well in these reports. So I can tell you that for sure.
Cool.
But yeah, St. Louis's specific office vacancy rate is sitting at 17.4, which is a little bit lower than the national average.
That's what. Okay, I missed that part. So you were saying the 22.5 is
you
the
cut me
national
off.
average. St. Louis
Dang.
is 17. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's still sitting at a slightly lower than national average, but still sitting pretty high. And
People around here are going to work a little bit more. We don't want to be home. It seems.
Well, yeah, so I'm wondering if, like, kind of what got this rolling was the pandemic, right?
of course,
Working from
you
home
know,
and-
remote jobs it really took an increase, especially post COVID. You know, not quite incentivizing a lot of office employees to go back into work. Of course, we all know that. Now, while there was slight growth in the office space vacancies in the last quarter, again, it doesn't seem too hopeful that this is
Yeah.
going to keep increasing quite high. So, as we get into this new House bill, you know, how is that going to play any effect on the city of St. Louis? It's obviously geared to try to incentivize this investment in the redevelopment for these office space conversions, but
Yeah.
realistically, is, you know, what do you think this is, or I guess let me ask, how do you think this is going to have an
Yeah.
impact, or what do you see?
Well, real quick before
Yeah.
that, I actually had a question. So we're turning office space into residential space, correct?
Yes.
But you're saying that more people are wanting to go into the office to work?
No, I was saying in St. Louis, since we're 17 versus the 22.5 national average, St. Louis must like to go into work a little bit more. It was just
Gotcha.
a joke.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you for clarifying that. Somebody else might.
And it said, like, throughout the national average repeatedly rose throughout 2025,
Yeah.
but it's not hopeful that that increase is gonna be sustainable.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry,
not
back to
likely
your-
that
No, you're good.
question you
The
asked,
question is like, how is that going to affect it? I mean, obviously we got a lot of projects on the south side, South Arch project. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
1.2 billion. I think they got funding that. They had a couple setbacks with that warehouse fire, but I mean, objectively with that, and also Boeing bringing a
City
couple
Arch River Project.
City
sorry,
Arch
yeah.
River Project, correct? Yeah, thank you. And then Boeing bringing in a couple projects they have back to St. Louis. I think is just going to increase job numbers by more than a couple thousand, I would argue. And that's going to bring in external residents, which are going to need a place to live. We also got South Side, the hospital, University Hospital is getting some additions done as well that I keep seeing when we drive by there. So I can imagine maybe they are going to want some travel nurses at those locations as well for
Yeah.
quick temporary living versus single, smaller going landlords that are, want more permanent residents.
On top of some more
Yeah.
industry growth we're seeing in St. Louis with the Geospatial Institute, the Taylor
Yep.
Geospatial Institute
Yeah.
coming in and really trying to redesign geospatial with AI. Again, I can't tell you I couldn't explain exactly what they're doing over there. But on top of them making an effort to make an appearance here or to grow here.
They're investing in the city, which they're going to need to pay people to
Yes,
be here, more jobs.
along with the other tech boom that's also
Yeah.
happening with other companies like the Danforth Plant Science Center and BioSTL, and then we also have Sensient, who just invested $250 million into the north side.
Brilliant.
Into about a 300,000 square foot production facility. So again, there are opportunity, and they are trying to bring jobs back here to St. Louis, which is hopefully going to fuel that growth and this idea of investment into the city and these conversions. When these jobs are coming along.
No, it's very
Again.
realistic, yeah. And on top of that, with more housing, could create affordability as well. A converted office unit is going to be a little bit, I would argue, more affordable than maybe a single residence where you're renting out a place in Soulard or Benton Park or Lafayette Square areas like those, or Tower Grove. Those places are getting pretty up there when it comes to cost of living for a renter. And if you're taking some converted office buildings, it might be able to cut those costs a little bit. And then finally, what was the last thing I wanted to speak to? If I remember it all, I'll throw it in there. But yeah, no, I like it.
Which just then kind of leads us into our next topic, which is the big project that you and I pass every single day, is the Millennium Hotel.
Millennium Hotel. And it's not even the hotel. It's that entire, their plan is to make it an entire district,
Yeah, the Millennium Hotel was recently purchased in July of 2025 by the Gateway Arch Foundation. It's also being developed by the same company, the Cordish companies that also developed Ballpark Village, or
Yep.
I guess are still developing Ballpark Village.
Agreed. Well, yeah. I mean,
So-
Millennium Hotel, they have plans with Ballpark Village to kind of, I would say, integrate those. Am I correct? Kind of unite those.
So if you're local to St. Louis, then you would obviously, if you pass the hotel, you will see that they are about, I want to say halfway done. They've got that thing pretty much torn down.
Yeah, I would say they're
So
not
for-
halfway done. They're halfway done tearing it down.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Tearing
Yeah.
it down. And then after that, the plan is to essentially make it a multi-use facility all around that
Yeah.
area, and adding up to 600 apartment complexes, to 250,000 square footage of office space.
Yeah.
You know,
Isn't
other
the whole funding like 660 something?
670 million, I
Yeah.
believe, is the dollar amount put on there.
Which is awesome.
You know, about 50,000 of retail space, food hall, winter garden, amphitheater, a bunch of different multi-use out there that they
And I
are.
also heard, I could be wrong about this, I'm going to look it up, but they, unless you could, if you don't mind, they have strategies on increasing security privately funded.
Interesting.
So,
I
yeah,
haven't-
instead of having, now, if you could check me on this, privately funded security, and I was reading something earlier that I want to fact
Like
check.
just downtown as a whole.
No, this project is creating. They're also like local businesses are. Let me verify that. I don't know if it was something they want. That was maybe more of an ambition, but I'll look into it and follow
Private
it next
security,
week.
huh?
Well,
Interesting.
it's like just more privately funded security.
Okay.
And then I was also reading something about maybe some horseback mounted police kind of ideas. I just feel like the aesthetics of that are going to be so cool, right? Picture like St. Louis in 2030, 4 years from now. You got that whole thing going, and you got like that horse and carriage ride that goes through the
Yeah.
city, some mounted police. I don't know, give them a cool British accent, and then I almost want to just cause mischief just to get yelled at by those guys.
We could only hope
Yeah.
for what the future will
I mean,
look like.
it sounds cool. I see their 5-year plan as being very ambitious, but also very lucrative. So yeah, I would
Sure,
argue-
and if you we weren't around in the 60s and 70s
Yeah.
or when the Millennium Hotel was popular, but it was an extremely popular place
yeah.
to go, and it really
It's so sad. Yeah, have you
popped
seen inside that? Super cool.
And it really gave a pop to the city skyline and right there
Yeah.
downtown, and there's just nothing for it over there. So I really excited to
excited.
see what happens, what they do, and
Yeah, if you're looking at investing in downtown, right now is the time to do it, right? And I do also appreciate, because I think of one of the negativities to St. Louis is obviously its crime. And having more of a presence in the downtown, which has been slowly decreasing because of that stigma, is going to be brilliant. I can imagine there's going to be some friction in the beginning of it, right? Just like is the same as the friction that we experienced over in the foundry / armory areas, right? They had a lot of crime and stuff, so they had to invest a lot into security. It'll probably go that same route, you know. But in the long run, I think it'll definitely increase values of anybody who invested now and maybe the next 2 years in those areas. So I'm excited. What else you got?
I mean, that's really it on the hotel. We're excited to see, you
Yeah.
know, what happens. But,
Love it.
there's some other really cool ideas that St. Louis is also having as far as the MetroLink specifically.
Okay.
Now, this first one, depending on who you are and your opinion on it, cool idea or not, it doesn't matter because it's happening. So we're talking about the 5.2-mile extension of the Red Line MetroLink that heads out to Mid-America Airport that basically starts at the Shiloh Scott MetroLink station, which is where the Red Line starts. So it's a 5.2-mile expansion essentially from the airport, or the Lambert Airport, out to
You said that was
Mid-America Airport.
how much funded wise
$150 million project.
versus Green Line, which was how much?
$1.1 billion.
So I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to do this. Where's the justification for the extra $1 billion?
Well, one
on
thing
the
to
previous
understand
one,
is this 5.2-mile stretch is nothing but farm and open land.
Yeah.
So they're not, they're not.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
The dirt's already dug. You know what I mean? It's already there. So
Farmland can be expensive though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, good thing is Missouri's not even paying for it, or barely.
Yeah.
Um,
Touche, Illinois.
So out of the $150 million for this project, 96 of it is being funded by the state of Illinois, which
Yep.
makes a lot of sense because
because they're the one benefiting.
yes, they are the
Yeah.
one benefiting, and this is being done through the Illinois Rebuild Capital Program, which essentially gave $45 billion to the state of Illinois to improve infrastructure, specifically $33 billion for transportation. And the reason that this specific addition it benefits Illinois side is because, again, it's the red line. It starts in Shiloh Scott, starts
Yeah.
all the way over in Illinois. It really
yeah.
just expands out a little bit further to the airport. And there's arguments too on whether or not there is also ideas to support the growth of Mid-America Airport. Now, I don't know the exact number, but they had, I believe, in 2025, the record high amount of flyers, or I guess passengers, than they have,
Probably because it was so cheap.
right? But it was still.
What was it? A friend of ours, she left out of there, right? On one of those old propeller airplanes.
Oh yeah.
Because
I
it was
think so.
super cheap, so.
It was like less than 350,000 for
Yeah.
the year, and I know Lambert's like close to like 15 million.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
even if they doubled or tripled, it's not even touching close.
Agreed. But it is cool just to see more traction, I guess, like around St. Louis. Hopefully they weren't all just trying to leave. But yeah, she tried to get cheap plane tickets, ended up leaving that southern
Some sort of
airport
helicopter
or
thing.
that eastern airport. And it was one of those planes with the propeller on front. And she was like talking to us. She's like, I don't know, guys. Was it worth the extra $100 that I saved? Just getting this thing, the guy's like pulling the propeller to get it going.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, obviously it's quite cheap given what the price tag for the Green Line would have
Oh,
been.
yeah.
But
Agreed.
would that Green Line would have been nice to see? Yes, for $1.1 billion. I don't know. I don't know.
I like it.
So I do know there were other infrastructure advancements. I didn't. Did you have anything to touch on that other than the MetroLink?
No, I like what you got going on. You had something else that you wanted to do, right? What was?
Well, I was going to say too regarding the
Yeah.
metro and everything. If
Yeah.
anyone wants more information, metrostlouis.org is a really good what's the word?
Source.
A really good source for that. Yeah, thank you. But they are, I guess, doing all of this in 3 phases. So they lay out, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. They also have instructions on what to do while it's all taking place. And also on this website, they're talking about a new electric charging infrastructure at one of the facilities,
There you go.
but not for cars.
go.
No, it's going to be charging the buses.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah. Maybe I could sneak my car in there.
we'll see. I don't know about that.
Be like, define a bus, or they'll be like, please just move.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you had an activity you wanted to do. Unless you don't
Yeah.
want to do it anymore.
Yes, we can do that. I wanted to do a downtown St. Louis, true or false.
True or false?
And we're gonna kind of test your guys'
Knowledge.
knowledge here,
Yeesh.
knowledge, skills.
Yeesh.
So this is all based on downtown St. Louis. I'm trying to go through here. There were a couple that were too easy, so I want to make sure I don't make it too easy on you. Okay. So first one is the Gateway Arch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, true or false, the Gateway Arch is the tallest monument in the United States.
That is true.
I'm going to say true.
That's correct. Ding, ding, ding. It is.
The ding, ding, ding is?
It is.
The
Ding,
good
ding,
old
ding.
St. Louis Arch, also known as the ding, 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 is the tallest monument. What is the second?
Statue of Liberty?
Is it the Statue of Liberty? Or is it the Washington
The
Monument?
Statue of Liberty is 300
Is it the second?
feet tall. I don't know if it's the second.
That
I don't
couldn't
know
be
what
second.
else would be.
I think it. How tall is the Washington Monument?
Next,
What is it?
San Juanito Monument in La Porta, Texas.
San
Then Washington
Juanito.
Monument. Oh, dude.
Washington was third?
Yeah, I didn't think Statue of Liberty was that tall.
Dude, it's not
No.
even on this list.
Well, if it's only 300 feet, St. Louis is 651.
That's fair.
It's 630.
I don't know my
630?
monuments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, what do we
Pretty
got
cool.
next?
Okay, next up we have
especially in all those movies.
True, yeah, it does. True or false? Downtown St. Louis has more vacant office space than occupied office space.
False.
False.
False, yes, that is correct. A lot of vacancy, but not more than half yet, right? So,
No.
No,
Yeah.
not even close.
Okay. Next, we have. Let's see here. There are over 5,000 people living in downtown St. Louis. True or false?
Over 5,000 people living? Very true.
True.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, wait.
You look scared.
That
Well,
would
no,
be.
it was just like over 5,000, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how many people did it
Well,
say
I guess
is?
it depends on how you how
Define
you would
living
define downtown.
as a residence? Well, I mean, yeah.
You said these were hard.
Residents, or let's say, can you look it up? How many residents in downtown St. Louis? I'm interested.
Guess.
I mean, I would say close to 300, 250, 260. Oh. Wait, I guess I'm confused. Oh,
What do you-
downtown St. Louis.
Yeah, what do you
Instead of
think-
St. I was thinking St. Louis City.
Oh.
You're right.
But, yeah.
You're right. You're right. Sorry, I said you're white, and I was reading the
I am
different
white. Especially when there's
population
light
by ethnicity on here.
Yeah,
So-
You're white.
it's what is it? 5.44 you saw?
Yeah.
Wow.
That
So
was also 2020. So
that's
you gotta-
downtown St. Louis.
You have to understand, it is
5.44.
outdated
Yeah.
It's just
information.
downtown.
So
That
think
makes
about
sense.
like how would we define downtown, right?
Yeah, that little block area. That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So 5,400.
Hey, we still got it right.
Yeah, of course. 544. No, 5,444.
Basically 5,500. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, true or false? Downtown St. Louis used to have a major indoor shopping mall.
True.
Chad?
True.
Yes.
I
this
took his answer.
his answer. Yes, this is true. It was called the Old St. Louis Center.
Interesting. Where was that?
Is that it was near the Millennium, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Did
that
not know
whole
Old
that.
area.
St. Louis Center?
Did not know that.
I
Hey,
didn't
you
know it
got
was
it right,
called the
though.
Old St. Louis Center. That's kind of cool. I want to know exactly where that, if I'm thinking of the right spot. Yeah, I think so.
I don't
No, never mind. I don't know.
know
I'll
if
have to look into that one.
anyone listening can hear, but there's just chomping going on in the background.
Because Bonnie's got a bone. All right, keep
Bonnie
going.
got a bone.
Okay. Let's see here. True or false? There are more residential units downtown today than there were 20 years ago.
More residential units downtown today than there were 20 years ago. False. Because are we talking, are
I'm
they
going to go
habitable?
true.
If they're habitable, I mean 20 years ago. Yeah, it'd have to be false.
According to this, it's true. So,
In downtown.
yeah, and they're saying there's a lot of big growth. There's a lot of lofts now.
Was I right?
A lot of
Cool.
Yeah,
You were
you
definitely
were right.
right.
Chad was right.
Cool. Good to know. Do they have a number of how much it changed
No
by?
number, but they're accounting it to a big growth from loft conversion.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. I think he's one up on me, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I
Actually, haven't been
I
keeping
did
track.
take one of his answers, though. So
That's
It's
fine.
okay. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's my motto.
Okay, true or false? The majority of downtown residents are homeowners, not renters.
false.
Homeowners, not renters.
False.
It is false.
Yeah, that was kind
Yeah.
of an easier one, I feel like, obviously.
Yeah.
Downtown in any city is more heavily rented, I would say.
Maybe. I'm trying to think. I wonder what New York City would be like.
Oh, same. There's no way.
You think? It's just so expensive down there. You'd almost wonder.
That's why everyone rents.
Yeah, why wouldn't somebody rent it out? Now, here's the thing. Homeowners and renters, you can take that the other way. Somebody's got to own the home.
Oh, I mean, of course, but I guess owner occupied. I know. Owner occupied. What's
words.
next?
This one is not a real one. I just thought it was funny. It was, you can live downtown without owning a car. True or false? Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not a real question. I just thought it was funny. Not for everyone, but definitely doable, right?
I don't know how you couldn't. You got golf carts, scooters.
Well, and maybe
horse and
too,
carriage.
like, if you're thinking New York City, I wouldn't want to own a car in New York City, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live in New York City.
St. Louis is definitely more versatile when it comes to cars and everything. That's for sure. Yeah. Cool. Is that it? Oh no, we got more.
I think I have a couple more.
Do it.
Let's go.
So this next one, there are more parking garages than surface parking lots.
True.
In downtown.
True.
Yeah.
Rob's contemplating. You're saying
I was
true?
just trying to picture everything. Yeah, true.
This is actually
Well, time out. More parking garages. It would have to be false.
More parking garages?
'Cause if
not
you're talking
garage,
the
parking
entire
garage
building-
space?
Yeah, parking garage space would be true. But if you're talking about a lot versus a parking garage building, it'd be lots by fault.
Okay, I misunderstood the question.
Yeah. Well, maybe we didn't misunderstand. We misdefined it.
So there are more parking garages than surface parking lots downtown. That is false.
Yeah. So we were right the second guess that we made. Because, like, if you're going to
Now I'm
take
getting confused.
if you're going to take a parking lot and verse it to the amount of parking garages that, are maybe like 20 stories high, there's going to be more
100%.
parking lots.
If you're going to say individual spots,
Yeah, if you're going to
I
say
gotcha.
actual surface area, like you were saying, square footage, by all means, parking garage. Yeah. Did we get it right?
I don't know. Now I'm just really lost.
No, we're saying false is correct.
Okay, that is correct.
Nice.
I think that is all I had for you guys.
Nice.
Want to know what's something that makes me mad?
What?
You guys get that Amber Alert the other day?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
I
think
turned mine off.
We just lost
you're
a follow.
You're a bad person. It turns out it was a hoax.
No way.
Yeah.
How do you do
Oh,
a
I
hoax?
did see that.
Wasn't even real.
I saw that in the local news. Yeah.
How the heck do you do a hoax on it? Don't
Said
you
that
have to-
while a vehicle was stolen, the child abduction was completely made up, saying there were some odd signs.
And this was in the county too.
Jeez. Doesn't make
Can't
any
ever
sense.
trust those. Maybe I should turn them off.
No.
That's why I turned them off. No, I'm just kidding. I
No,
don't
we're
know.
not.
It
We're
was the
not
noise
promoting
really
any way or
scared me.
another.
The noise is scary, but it's good.
Well, that's all I have
That's
for
what we
today.
got. There's a couple things that I kind of wanted to address before we ended the podcast. How much time do we have?
We're at 28 minutes.
Cool. We'll end it at 30, make this one a little bit shorter. There's a couple different transactions going on. One thing that I want to talk more deeply about next week after we get some more statistics at the end of January, February, March, right?
We
Heading
are at
into
the end
April.
of March tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll start to get some statistics in and some more confidence stats for the month. And I'd love to hit on the topic of you will see, and probably I'll add this to everybody's algorithm now, that there is a quote unquote housing crisis that's taking place. But it's kind of cool to see all this going on and everybody's freaking out about housing prices falling, dropping in price. But when you look at that versus the city of St. Louis and the county of Metro St. Louis and all that, our housing market is healthy.
Yeah,
I
very
agree.
balanced.
I
Yes.
agree.
Very balanced, very like it's a very emotionally competent individual, right? Running around. It's just super fun to see all these people freaking out, trying to, become a millionaire, trying to take the easy route, investing in all these different areas that are booming, falling, maybe.
Do you know of any areas that are actually quite like struggling. Quite a
Oh, I
bit.
mean, so Florida was a big
Of
major
course,
one. I won't-
Texas.
Yeah, I won't jump too much on it right now because I want to dig into the topic
Next
next
week.
week.
Yeah.
Southern
But yeah.
cities, yes.
Yeah, southern
Others-
and of course western states are definitely, but the Midwest
I was just
is
wondering if it was the St. Louis people freaking out or them.
no, but I'm sure like you accidentally add that to your algorithm and you're just going to see as abroad, and you know, as abroad when you take the country as a whole, yeah, there is a housing crisis, but when you take the Midwest states and particularly cities as competent as St. Louis, there's nothing but growth and investment, and it's just super cool to see that because you know our company's got investment properties on the market, residential properties on the market, and we're getting calls galore. We're getting interest. We're getting people that want to invest in St. Louis. So it's very cool in that regard. So I'm excited speaking to that point. That being said, I think it's an interesting idea to compare our numbers. So maybe we'll address that next week. Our numbers versus the rest of the world's, particularly states like Texas, like you said, or Florida, and how healthy we are and where that might put us, say, 5 years from now, right? We just went through all these major events that St. Louis is planning. The past 5 years, St. Louis has not been in a healthy state, right? St. Louis has been decreasing, the city at least has been decreasing in population. They've been going to the county. They haven't been leaving St. Louis, but it's been decreasing. This bad stigma of the past 10 years in crime has finally caught up with mainstream social media. Everybody trying to get a like is focusing more on the negative, which has just created this bad stigma for St. Louis. But if you actually look at the whole for the city, investing in it is a good idea right now.
Absolutely.
Right? Our hometown that we grew up in, you know, isn't even comparing when it comes to, say, a 5-year plan, which, you know, is kind of sad, you know. But it is cool that where we currently stand in St. Louis, not only is there a bunch of growth opportunity and you can sense a vibrancy to reestablish this city, we're also very healthy and competent when it comes to one of the most major economic markets in the United States right now, where other people are suffering. So yeah, cool idea. I think we should address. Was there anything else you guys wanted to hit on before we close this podcast out?
Not today.
Cool.
I think we're good.
Beautiful work. Maybe we'll summarize a couple of the follow-ups on these ideas next week, but we're definitely going to address how we compare to the rest of the chaos happening in the world. Other than that, guys, this was the show Intellectually. Thank you for tuning in. This is Rob. I'm Robert.
I'm Chad.
And that's Hannah.
And
You
I'm
already know.
Hannah.
Yeah, that's Hannah, right?
And
Cool.
that's Bonnie, and that's Murph, and that's Clyde.
Yeah, right. You guys have a wonderful evening, and let us know in the comments any topics you want us to speak to. We'll see you. That was good. No.